Today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 experiences with Pokemon. These are the things that have impacted me the most. I grew up with Pokemon. It came out in America when I was about in 1st grade, so it's kind of been a part of my entire life. I've played every game, every generation. If any of these resonate with you, feel free to leave a comment. And now, on to the top 5. Number 5, battling Wally on Victory Road. When I was pretty young, I was diagnosed with arthritis. It's impacted a lot of my life. It's made it really difficult for me to move around and walk, especially on rainy days when the pressure is low. I had to relearn how to walk multiple times throughout my life, and it was really hard. In video games, a lot of the characters are super powerful and cool, and while it's fun to live that fantasy, Wally for me was a character that I could relate to a little bit more. Usually on Victory Road, you end up fighting your rival, or you have some sort of big climactic type of thing. So when I saw Wally approach me on Victory Road, instead of the traditional rival battle or something along those lines, I was so happy and excited. I almost didn't even want to win because I was so invested in Wally's character and his growth and development that I almost wanted to lose. Seeing that he could make it all the way that far was really inspiring for me, and I'm really happy that Pokemon included that in their 3rd generation. Number 4, hearing about Pokemon Go. As I said with the previous point, I was diagnosed with arthritis at a very early age. Because of that, things like walking was... When I heard about Pokemon Go, I was incredibly excited because I knew that it would be Pokemon in the real world, the way that I'd always imagined it. Like when I was a kid playing on the playground, we would play Pokemon, we would catch imaginary Pokemon, and we would just run around and pretend that they were real. And I knew that with Pokemon Go, it was kind of going to be reliving that childhood experience that I loved. But I knew there was going to be one problem. Walking. So I started going on walks before the game even came out just to get myself in shape so that I could play the game. And when it came out, I walked more than I probably ever have in my entire life. It was so good for exercise. I met a bunch of people that I had never met before just from walking around and playing, and it was just a great community experience and a great athletic experience as well. Number 3, the power that's inside. When I was young, I played Pokemon in a very different way than I do now. I wanted lots of cute Pokemon. I mostly only trained my starter, and then I would have the cute ones on my team because they looked nice. As I got older, obviously this changed, but one of the big moments that really sparked this change was when I was playing Pokemon Crystal for the first time. Usually when I played games up until that point, I started with the water type starter. So in this case, I would have usually started with Totodile. That would make Falkner the flying type gym leader not so bad. But when I started my playthrough of Pokemon Crystal, I decided to start with Chikorita, who is a grass type who is weak to flying. Of course, I was pretty young and I didn't really understand everything that was going on, so I went to fight Falkner with my high-level Chikorita and a whole bunch of level 2, 3, if you're generous, Pokemon. So my Chikorita got destroyed right away, didn't even beat his first Pokemon. The rest of my team got destroyed completely, and I only had one Pokemon left to beat both of his Pokemon. I had never lost a battle, ever. I was so nervous. So I sent out my last Pokemon, accepting that this was my first defeat. So I threw out my Geodude. Geodude used Tackle. It actually beat the first Pokemon because it didn't have a lot of health. And I was like, okay, but there's no way. Not gonna beat the next Pokemon. No way. She leveled up like crazy because she was level 2. Then Falkner sent out his last Pokemon. Falkner hit me, not very effective. Because of that, my Geodude was able to survive, and it was able to take out Falkner. I had misjudged my Geodude because I thought it was just a rock with arms and it was really ugly, but I realized that it's not about the way Pokemon look, it's about their different abilities and strengths and weaknesses and being able to combo their moves and really understanding the game. And so I started taking a really more intellectual approach of the game and building a more balanced team and not focusing so much on the looks of the Pokemon. This started applying in my real life as well. I would try not to be judgmental because I'd seen that just like in Pokemon, in real life, people's power is on the inside. Preach. Point number 2. Or are you a girl? Up until Pokemon Crystal, every single game that I had ever played required me to play as a boy. It was super awkward in Pokemon Blue going into Erica's gym and having them try to not let me in because I was a boy. I wanted to scream at the screen, "I'm a girl, let me in!" Then when Pokemon Crystal came out, I knew that you could play as a girl, but there was something about that moment when it says, "Are you a boy or are you a girl?" It kind of made it okay for me to be a girl in the Pokemon world, because up until that point, I hadn't been able to really play as myself. I feel like Pokemon has been working on this for a really long time with slowly adding more things, like now you can choose your skin color, you can choose your hair color and hair length and all of those kind of things. You can even choose your clothes. So I feel like they're making a lot of progress in that way. But for me, that was the most significant moment because I got to play as me. I was also treated not so nicely when I was young because I was a girl who liked video games, so it was really nice to see representation of girls in the video game sphere through Pokemon Crystal. The number one experience from Pokemon was stepping back into Kanto. I remember at the end of Pokemon Silver, I went back to the beginning town and I knew that the Elite Four were across the water. I would have to use Waterfall and get to the other side and all of that. So I did it, I made it to the other side, I crossed the water, and then I talked to this guy in the game, obviously. He said, "Check your town map, you just took your first steps into Kanto." I was like, wait, what? Kanto? But that's from Gen 1. We've been in Johto. What is going on? I checked my town map and it came up as Kanto. And I was shocked and I was terrified because I thought I wouldn't be able to go back to Johto. So I surfed a little bit across the water and then I checked my town map again and it was like Johto. And I went back and then I checked my town map, Kanto. And I must have done that for maybe a good 15 or 20 minutes before I was like, okay, I'm gonna go into Kanto now. It's okay, I can get back home, everything is fine. And then I walked and I did Victory Road and all of that and saw the Elite Four from the original game, which I was amazed by. And then you get to actually travel to Kanto and battle all the other gym leaders. That was so cool. Like, I can't even describe how amazing that was to have a whole nother region as the post game. No other game has done that aside from remakes of this generation. I really hope that the Pokemon Company will put that in another game, because just having more than one region to go to and seeing old characters again and having them slightly change over time and go through different experiences made it really feel like a real developed world. So that moment was absolutely amazing. I will never forget it as long as I live. That's my top 5 experiences with Pokemon. Obviously, I've had a lot of experiences with Pokemon, so there were many runners-up for this. If you want to hear about the runners-up, feel free to leave that in the comments. If you liked the video, click that like button, and if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Bye!